Picture this. You're standing over a 6-foot putt. You need this. You want this. And somewhere in the back of your mind, that little voice shows up. What if I miss? And the moment that thought arrives, something changes. Your grip tightens. Your breathing shortens. Suddenly, the hole looks half the size it did 30 seconds ago. That feeling has a name in sports psychology. It's called performance tension. And it doesn't just affect amateur club golfers trying to break 90. It affects the best players in the world. In April 2026, Nelly Korda, one of the most naturally gifted golfers alive, was dominating the Chevron Championship. 6 shots clear. Historic lead. And in her post-round interview, she said something so simple, so honest, that it completely unlocked the psychology of elite performance. And viewers, it was just 4 words. I'll figure it out. That's it. And yet, there's a decade of sports psychology packed inside those 4 words. Today, we're breaking down exactly what she meant, why it works, and most importantly, how you can build the same mindset on your very next round. Welcome to ByteSize Golf Wisdom. In this video, we're going to look into Nelly Korda's secrets. We'll break it down into 3 easy parts. Okay, let's dive into part 1, the science. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain when you approach a pressure putt. Sports psychologists call it the ironic process theory. It was first identified by a Harvard researcher named Daniel Wegner back in 1994, and the theory is almost infuriatingly simple. The more you try not to think about something, the more your brain fixates on it. Tell yourself, don't hit it in the water. Where does your brain go? The water, every time. But here's where Korda's mindset becomes a masterclass when she replaced, I must not mess this up with, I'll figure it out if I do. She wasn't just being positive. She was physiologically changing her threat response. Psychologists distinguish between 2 performance states, threat state and a challenge state. In a threat state, your body perceives the situation as something bad that could happen to you. Your cortisol rises, blood flow constricts, and fine motor control essential for putting, chipping, anything precise, deteriorates. You become reactive, defensive. However, in a challenge state, you perceive the same situation as something you can actively influence. Adrenaline still pumps, but now it's working for you, not against you. You stay in control of your movements. You stay present. It's the same pressure, but a different perception, completely different performance. Nelly Korda wasn't trying to eliminate the pressure of leading a major championship. Instead, she was reframing her relationship with what might go wrong. And that reframe is the difference between tension that locks you up and tension that drives you forward. Okay, viewers, hope you're enjoying this video. Let's move on to part 2, the Korda story. Here's what makes this story genuinely useful for us as golfers. Nelly Korda went winless in 2025. For someone who had won 9 events, including a major and an Olympic gold medal, that's not a technical failure. It's a mental one. And she knew it. What's fascinating is what she identified as the core problem. It wasn't her swing. It wasn't her fitness. It was the internal conversation she was having. Every time she faced adversity on the course, she made 2 changes heading into 2026. One external and one internal. And it's worth understanding both, because they map directly onto things any amateur golfer can actually do. The first change was her putting. Korda reached out to Phil Kenyon, one of the most sought-after putting coaches in the game, who also works with Scotty Scheffler. And he told her to make a significant grip change. From left-hand low, back to conventional, and to do it the week of a tournament. Most of us would panic, but she did it anyway. And Kenyon then connected her with David Angelotti, who became her day-to-day putting coach. What Angelotti brought wasn't just technique. Listen to how Korda described it. Everything I do is very structured with him. There is no gray area. It's black and white. And for me, there is a calm in whatever we do together. And viewers, the key takeaway for you here is that structure creates calm. It's not a putting tip. That's a psychology lesson. The mental noise gets quieter. If 1, you have a pre-shot routine you actually trust. 2, when your process has clear steps and no ambiguity. And 3, when you know exactly what you're doing and why. Because there's no room for what if, when you already know what next. And then there's the deeper change. the internal one. Korda described what I'd call permission to fail, a phrase that sounds counterintuitive but is one of the most powerful tools in elite performance psychology. She said this: I think there is a power in knowing it's okay to make a mistake and just bounce back. When you grant yourself permission to make a mistake, not as an excuse to be careless, but as a genuine acceptance that mistakes are part of the game, something shifts. The catastrophic weight behind every shot lifts slightly. And when it lifts, your body can move freely again. Okay, viewers, let's now move on to part 3, the 3-part framework. So golfers, how do we actually apply this? Here are 3 practical steps drawn directly from what Korda and the psychology behind her tells us works. Step 1. Rewrite the script. Most of us have a default internal script that runs on pressure shots. And for a lot of amateur golfers, that script sounds something like, don't scull it, don't top it, don't go in the water. That script puts you squarely in a threat state before you've even swung. Korda's rewrite was this: if it goes wrong, I'll figure it out. That's it. Just those 4 simple words that shift you from threat to challenge. Your version might sound different. Maybe it's I've done this before. Maybe it's play the shot, not the result. But the goal is the same. Replace outcome anxiety with process confidence. Try this before your next round. Write down your default negative thought on a piece of paper. Then, write your reframe next to it. Carry it in your bag. Read it on the first tee. Step 2. Eliminate the gray area. Korda's putting coach gave her something priceless. No gray area. Black and white. This is your routine. These are your checkpoints. This is your process. Ensure there was no room for improvisation under pressure. Most amateur golfers do the opposite. Their pre-shot routine changes depending on how nervous they feel. They add steps when they're anxious. They rush when they're embarrassed. The routine becomes a reflection of their emotional state when it should be an anchor against it. Your routine should be the same on the 18th hole under pressure as it is on the practice tee. Define your routine with specificity. 1. How many practice swings exactly? 2. Where do you look first, target or ball? And 3. What's the last thing you feel or see before you pull the trigger? Write it down. Practice it. Make it automatic, because when pressure arrives, and it will, you want your process to run itself. Step 3. Play smart, not aggressive. The third lesson from Korda at Memorial Park is one of the most underrated in all of amateur golf: strategic maturity. On the par 3 15th hole, mid-round, momentum running high, with 3 consecutive birdies in her pocket, Korda had a pin tucked dangerously, left with water lurking. The aggressive play would be to attack it. Instead, she played well right of the flag, took the easy par, walked off the green in control. She called it maturing. But viewers, it's more than that. It's the application of the same mindset. I'll figure it out, applied to course management. She wasn't afraid to not go at the flag because she trusted herself to make the next opportunity count. For you and me, that means on your next round, before every shot, ask yourself one question. Not, can I make this shot? But instead, is this shot necessary? Because sometimes the smartest decision is the one that keeps you out of trouble entirely. Okay, viewers, I hope you've enjoyed these insights into what makes Nelly Korda a great golfer. Let's wrap it up for you. This year, Nelly Korda didn't change her swing heading into 2026. She didn't hire a sports scientist or build a brand new technical model. Instead, she changed the conversation she was having with herself. She went from a player who would look at a difficult lie or a scary pin and feel, in her own words, finished, to a player who looks at the same situation and thinks, I'll figure it out. That shift from catastrophizing to curiosity, from threat to challenge, is available to every single one of us on the course. It doesn't cost anything, doesn't require perfect ball striking, just requires practice, mental practice, the same course, using the same clubs, but a different internal conversation. Different game. 3 things. Take them to the course this weekend. Number 1, rewrite your script. Swap the catastrophe thought for a process thought. I'll figure it out, was Nelly's. Pick yours. Number 2, eliminate the gray area. Define your pre-shot routine precisely, then trust it under pressure. The most confident shot you can hit is sometimes the one that takes the big number completely off your scorecard. If this video gave you something useful, a different way of thinking about pressure, about mistakes, about the internal game, then please share it with one person in your four-ball who needs to hear it. Because that's what bite-sized golf wisdom is about. It's not perfect technique. It's the stuff between your ears. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop your biggest mental game challenge in the comments. I read every one, and your question might be the basis of our next video. And on your next round, when something goes wrong, and it will remember the sentence, I'll figure it out. See you in the next one.